Hello. Oh gosh, it has been a minute. No, that's a lie. It's been a year. It's been over a year since my last YouTube video. But guess what? The bus is gone and boy, do we need to have a chat. Buckle up because today I'm going to dive into the raw truth. In fact, I'm going to share my top 5 reasons for why I decided to wave goodbye to bus life and sell my bus. Are you ready? Let's dive in.
Just like a rolling stone. Let's spend all night out on the open road. Try till we see the sun.
Hello, my name is Steph Bartlett. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My mission is to empower people to be wildly themselves and live life their way. And some of you may be watching because you've been following along with my bus life adventure. That has actually come to an end now. I just want to quickly say, regardless of if you are here because you love the bus life thing, or maybe you've just discovered me now, just because the bus life is over does not mean the YouTube channel is coming to an end. I have some very cool things in store. I'll share more about that at the end. A few years ago, I saw people living the bus life. I saw it on YouTube, I saw it on Instagram, and I thought it looked incredible, and I wanted in on that. So that is when my search for a bus began. I eventually found my beautiful blue Toyota Coaster bus, and I spent about a year getting the inside of the bus all fitted out how I wanted it so I would be super comfy traveling around Australia. I'm based in South Australia and I did a few local trips to begin with, and then I embarked on my big solo adventure. Actually, I wasn't solo. Coco, come here. I went with my little dog Coco Bella. Come on. Yes, you were a great travel companion, weren't you? Look at the camera. This is where the camera is. Say hello. She really doesn't like being filmed, even when we were traveling. You didn't like being filmed, did you? As soon as I'd point the camera at her, her head would be down. Anyhow, Coco, my little dog, and I, we did a solo trip up through Central Australia to Darwin. I had grand plans of then traveling across to Broome and down the west coast and then back home across the Nullarbor. But once I got to Darwin, I realized bus life is not for me. But don't get me wrong, I actually loved bus life when I first started. The freedom, the community, no joke. If you'd see another bus on the road, you'd get the biggest wave, or if you pull up somewhere and there's another bus or two there, you're just instant friends. It was such a beautiful community and I love that part of it. And I also loved the sense of adventure. It all seems like a dream come true. Even as I took on the daunting experience of traveling solo, I found myself feeling so empowered, and I'd often start the day sitting in the driver's seat and I would have the biggest smile on my face. I would be thinking, I'm actually doing it. I'm living the bus life. But despite the initial excitement, once I got to Darwin, it hit me. I was like, bus life is not for me, and I couldn't get home soon enough once I'd made that decision. So get ready, because even though bus life initially felt like the ultimate adventure, I'm about to share my top 5 reasons why I quit bus life and went on to sell my bus. But before I do, I just want to add this little disclaimer. Just because these 5 things I'm about to share with you were things that made me not like bus life, if you feel the desire to do bus life, don't let me put you off. This is just my experience. I guess it's good to get a bit of a feel or idea of what people do and don't like about bus life. So I hope you find this helpful. Just hang on a sec. Thirsty work, this YouTubing. Okay. Number 1 reason I quit bus life. You probably guessed it, being a solo female traveler. It was a safety thing. I didn't always feel safe. Of course, there was times where I was cruisy as, and I was like, this is the best. I was loving it. But you know, that small percentage of time where I didn't feel 100% safe, that added up. Look, I've got to point out, I am a sensitive individual. I'll hear every noise, be aware of everything in my surroundings. I guess it's just a way to protect yourself, keep yourself safe. But because of this, I didn't feel safe camping in free camping spots. I would end up camping in caravan parks because I would have a better night's sleep and I would feel a lot safer that way. Part of this is probably because I did go Central Australia. Phone reception is pretty patchy, so you don't have a phone to call anyone. I did love that in the bus I could lock the doors and feel quite safe in there, but still, safety was a thing. There were a couple of incidents that were a bit sketchy. And luckily there were other people around, or I would have been like, I was scared as it was, but without other people around wouldn't have been cool at all. There was one incident where I pulled up on the Stuart Highway in a parking bay to take Coco for a walk and make some lunch, and I was outside of the bus walking Coco. There was another couple there, thankfully. A car went flying past the parking bay, then did a U-turn and come back in and parked right in front of where I was standing talking to this couple. It was just odd, and he took a minute or two to get out the car and then started talking to me, calling me another name, thought my name was Holly, and he thought he knew where I worked and kept saying, but you look like Holly, and then went on to say that he promises he's harmless, he won't hurt me, and he kept repeating that over and over. So if I was by myself in that situation, I wouldn't have it probably was harmless like he kept telling me, but it just was an odd situation. I didn't enjoy that. And if I had someone else traveling with me, obviously I would have felt a lot safer in that situation. The other thing about the safety concerns was that if I were to have a breakdown, I am not mechanically minded. Yes, I'm a farm girl, but I'm kind of ashamed to admit this. I don't even know how to change a tire. So if I were to get a flat tire or have a breakdown in a remote area without phone reception, I would just have to hope someone would come by and help me. And I must say that did happen in one instance. The air vent at the top of my bus was giving me all kinds of grief. And a lovely couple pulled over and helped me with that, and I was super, super grateful. So safety was one reason. I didn't like bus life, but like I say, I didn't always feel unsafe. It was just little patches here and there where I wouldn't feel safe, and in the end that all just compiles and I didn't like it. Okay, number two was that I was all about doing the digital nomad life, but when it came to the crunch, traveling around trying to run my business, I found it really challenging. Again, I probably didn't pick the best track in Australia to have phone reception and consistency like that going through Central Australia, but when you have an online business, you obviously need internet. Maybe I could have had a better setup. I know there's more advanced options with internet coming out all the time, so maybe I could have had a better setup with that, but I found it really hard to run my business because it turns out I'm a bit of a routine girl. And when you're constantly thinking, because again, solo, I'm making all the decisions. I'd be like, where am I going to be staying? When will I take off? Where do I need to drive today? It was really hard to get that consistency in my business. I would often pull up for a consecutive few days just so I could try and get in the zone with my work, but I just found it really inconsistent and hard to focus on my business. So the fact that I struggled to run my business whilst traveling, that was my number 2 reason for quitting bus life. Reason number 3, health and well-being. My health and well-being went backwards. It went downhill. I am passionate about health and well-being. It's part of my business, it's what I do. And I know that for me to be feeling good within myself mentally and physically, I really need to be on top of my health and well-being, or things can go pear-shaped pretty quickly. It turns out I'm not very good at cooking meals from a bus. So I wasn't eating healthy meals all the time. I'd often go for things that were quick and convenient and easy. Or even the fact of trying to get to a supermarket, trying to find fresh fruit and veg. I struggled with that as well. I mean, every now and then you'd hit a town where you've got a big shopping centre and can get all your supplies, but again, it wasn't very consistent. I also love to start my day with a morning walk, and I guess this links back to reason number 1, safety. There was some areas where I was camped up. I didn't feel safe to go for a morning walk by myself because I didn't really know the area. There wasn't good phone reception. I didn't know if it was safe to go walking in these areas. That meant I wasn't exercising as much. That also affects my well-being. morning. I really rely on my morning walk to set me up for the day, help me feel good physically and mentally. So I really missed that consistency of having a morning walk. And I also think my nervous system was probably a little bit fried, a little bit stressed out, because I was constantly trying to make sure that I was safe, constantly thinking, when am I going to take off? How far am I going to drive? Where am I going? Where will I stay? Just so much to think about all the time. So the fact that my health and well-being, I felt like that went downhill. That was my third reason for deciding to quit bus life. I also came to the realization, number 4, that the bus life experience would be amplified so much more if I could do it with someone. I would find myself thinking, wow, how cool is this? All the different experiences I'd have along the way, the different people that I'd meet, the driving in the bus, seeing all the beautiful scenery. And I did have moments of thinking, how cool that I've created this, I'm living this lifestyle. But then I realized I'd really love to share this with someone. That would just add to the experience so much. Having someone to talk to about it, someone to have fun with. Coco sitting down there. Don't be offended, Coco. I loved your company. But some human company would have been great. So that was the 4th reason. I realized having these experiences, I'd really prefer to save up these trips and do them with someone, because I do think it would just add to the experience so much. And number 5, you probably won't be surprised at this one. It's just that I realized bus life wasn't for me. There was a part of me that felt guilty because I originally said I'm going to travel up through Central Australia, which I did, and then I was going to come down the West Coast. I told people I was going to do this trip, and I like to follow through with things I say I'm going to do. And I actually did feel a bit guilty when I pulled the pin and I was like, I'm heading home. But then again, I am about being wildly you and living life your way. So I was like, no, Steph, own it. If you don't like bus life, it's okay. You don't have to like it. I think it highlighted to me that I love having a solid home base and then the freedom to go on little adventures when I feel like it. I am definitely a routine girl. That really got highlighted during the trip. So to have a nice home base where I can settle, get in the zone with my work. I love my work. Just get in the zone. And then when I feel like I need a spark of inspiration or to mix things up, because that really helps with my creativity, I can go on little adventures. But I think like 1 to 2 weeks away, that's a good time frame for me. By the end of the 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, if my routine's thrown too much, that's when I'm craving to get home again, just to help ground me, get those foundations in place so I'm feeling good. So number 5, I just realized I like routine. I like having a solid home base. I'm making this 2 or 3 reasons in one. And I am a routine girl. I do love adventure, but I don't like the long-term adventure. I just like a week or 2 away at a time, make it potent, absolutely love it, and then come home, regroup, recenter. And I can go on adventures when I feel like it. It's not an endless thing. It's just when I feel like it. So you're probably thinking, how did I decide to sell the bus, or how did I sell the bus? Well, I decided to sell the bus for the 5 reasons I just listed, but I didn't even advertise the bus for sale as such. I saw on Instagram that there was a couple looking for a bus. I knew them and I sent them a DM and said, I know a really nice bus if you're looking for one. They came and checked it out. They loved it and they went ahead and purchased the bus. And I've got some footage from that. So I'm going to show you that now. Wait till the end as well, because I'm going to tell you what will be happening with this YouTube channel moving forward. There's still more adventures and very cool things to come. I brought the bus down to the workshop so I can use the spit water and give it a clean before the new owners get here. Not long now, they'll be here very soon. So just giving it a final wash and it will be all ready for them to pick up. I also cleaned the inside of my bus. It looked so different without all of my stuff in there. It was kind of cool that it looked like a blank canvas for the new owners. They could put their own things in there and make it their own. Okay, so the new owners of the bus, I think they'll be about 5 or 10 minutes away. And I'll be handing over the keys. I can't believe it. I've got the bus all organised, ready to go. The end of the bus life chapter. The new owners, Lisa and George, arrived and I handed over the keys. I was a little worried about how I would feel handing over the keys, but it turned out that I didn't feel sad at all, so I knew I'd made the right decision to sell the bus. Plus, it was so nice to see their big smiles on their faces. So there you have it, the bus is gone. I've sold the bus. So where does that leave the YouTube channel? I have created a bucket list for this year. I know sometimes people like to have a bucket list for their lifetime, and I was like, no, I really want to take action this year. My theme for this year is to go all in. So I've created a bucket list, and each thing on that bucket list I'm going to film and make into a YouTube episode. Some of it includes adventure, some of it includes me facing fears, some of it includes me just doing random stuff. That's how I roll. But my intention is to inspire you to be wildly you and live life your way. So thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't, so you don't miss out on any episodes. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything in particular that you would love me to do a YouTube video on or would like me to share. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Burn a little brighter every day, swimming in the tide against the waves.